Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me here today on the Washington Report. Today, I have Tia Blount, and she's the Vice President of Public Affairs and Communications with the Housing Opportunities Commission. And today, we're going to be talking about a couple of things that you might want to twitch your ears a little bit to follow along. So thank you for joining me here today on the Washington Report.
Thanks so much, Stevie, for having me.
Yes. And so, as I was saying, we're going to be talking about a couple of things. But before we do that, let's talk about the Housing Opportunities Commission there in Montgomery County.
Absolutely. So the Housing Opportunity Commission in Montgomery County really does exist to provide people with low and moderate incomes the opportunity to live in high quality, safe, and affordable housing. And we really work to strengthen families by offering them opportunities for personal and economic growth through just a range of dynamic partnerships and supportive services. And the thing that I really, really love about HOC, what we call ourselves, is that we're unique in the United States and that we combine three unique functions under one roof. I don't think you'll find this anywhere else. We're the Public Housing Authority and Housing Finance Agency for Montgomery County, but we're also a private public real estate developer, owner, operator. And so it's really rare that you will find these functions under one umbrella. And so that's what really allows us to really expand the range of opportunities and possibilities for low and moderate income families that live right here in Montgomery County.
That is really cool. So has it always been set up that way? Has HOC always functioned in that manner?
It has. It's really interesting because we're quasi-government, and so it's really a dynamic opportunity. So under our housing authority, we're able to provide rental assistance to more than 8,300 households, and that includes over 7,800 households that we provide support through our Housing Choice Voucher Program as well as project-based vouchers. And so that really allows them to get support to live in continually and increasingly high-cost areas like Bethesda or Rockville, right? So that really is a real value add. We are also able to provide shallow rent subsidies, about $600 a month or so, to several hundred residents that really just need that bridge to be able to afford the rent. And so those are some of the functions that fall under our Public Housing Authority. Now, our Housing Finance Agency, really, really unique in that we're able to not only issue bonds which support the development of other multifamily developments, not just the brick and mortar that HOC builds. We're also able to lend to other nonprofit developers. But what I really love about the Housing Finance Agency arm is that we provide low-cost mortgages to first-time home buyers. And coupled with that, we give down payment and closing cost assistance. And so that's a really unique opportunity that we're able to provide for folks that are really working to move from apartment living to becoming homeowners and really beginning to build some wealth that way. And then as a private real estate developer, we're able to newly construct, acquire, and rehab, or work to maintain the affordability for what we consider naturally occurring affordable housing so that those homes don't get lost to market pressure to be converted to market rate. And so we do a lot to really provide opportunities for people to live, work, and play in Montgomery County.
Yeah, I was going to, that was going to be one of my questions. Real estate here in the DMV is always a struggle for everyone. And, to know that you guys have like a little niche or a little piece of the pie for others, for others to enjoy is actually quite remarkable. And where did that vision come from?
Wow, I think it probably came from HOC's existence. And over the years, the organization has continued to innovate. And under the leadership of our new president, Chelsea Andrews, who's been with the organization since, I'm going to say 2022, we have a new 5-year strategic plan. We've been really aggressive about accelerating and expanding the number of units that we provide in terms of affordable housing, enhancing the lives that we touch through a lot of our supportive services, and really working to excel as a world-class organization and really strengthening our customer service arm, technology, et cetera. We don't want to be the ordinary run-of-the-mill public housing authority or housing finance agency. We are really working to change the game in this space. And so I think the original thought partnership for the folks who established HOC, they were innovative from the very beginning, really working to deconcentrate poverty and work to create vibrant, diverse, mixed income communities. That same level of innovation extended to our MPDU program, which is the moderately priced dwelling unit, which allows folks that fall in that middle income road to be able to continue to afford in high cost areas. And so there's been innovation all along the way, down to now our housing production fund, where we're able to quickly accelerate new construction in this high cost area of Montgomery County. So we're really, really working hard to address some of the shortages that exist, not just across the DMV, but specifically right here in Montgomery County.
Now, with all of that being said, I can't get past the optics, if you will. How were you able to, if at all, needed to change the perception of those individuals who might not be able to afford to live in, quote unquote, the neighborhood, because there's a stigma that comes to those who are less fortunate, unfortunately, and people don't know. They don't really look around and know who has and who doesn't. So was there an issue moving into communities to help them understand that what you were doing was a positive thing and you were not building, quote unquote, projects?
I think anyone in the affordable housing space really faces some of that stigma, some of that NIMBYism. Not in my backyard, you won't build.
Yes.
Right? And so a lot of what a lot of housing authorities, what a lot of private and public developers are doing is really engaging communities, because a big part of it is having people understand that with more diverse communities that not only are representative of the many different demographics, that racial demographics and ethnic demographics that live in a community, but also the income bands that live in a community. That diversity really makes more communities vibrant. Like you just have, if you think about places like Silver Spring that has this dynamic melting pot, has this interesting drumbeat, has vibrancy, energy, lots of transit, lots of places to eat and dine. And so everyone wants to live in a vibrant community that's walkable, that they have access to amenities, that there's green spaces, and there's no different. Regardless of where you fall on the income spectrum, everyone deserves that.
Right.
And so when you sell people on the bigger picture, and then you have them understand that the product that we build, when you look at some of the HOC communities, you're not going to see what was back in the day, these old school projects. We just don't build that. What we're building is high quality. We do not, we're able to subsidize some of the market rate with some of the lower cost rentals, so that we're actually able to build a product type that is identical. Right. So you're not going to see the difference between, and you're not going to be able to pinpoint, that person lives in a rent restricted unit, or that person is moderately priced in terms of where they fall in the income spectrum. So I think that we work really, really hard to make sure that we bring communities along in understanding the vision for what we're trying to create, having folks understand that with that energy and that vibrancy comes this diversity of perspectives, of incomes, of demographics, et cetera. And so we've been really successful in that way.
Now, how does this work? Tia, how is this made possible? Especially with, restrictions, funding, how did you guys make this happen? How are you continually able to serve the community?
Absolutely. One of the ways that HOC is able to operate is because of that unique function of those three arms. And so if you might imagine, under our public housing authority arm, which is where we're able to provide really that deep subsidy for your project-based vouchers and your housing choice vouchers, we receive HUD funding, and that funding allows for folks to receive that steep subsidy along with some of the that, like I mentioned before, that shallow rent subsidy. So that's one end of the spectrum. We're also able to, under our public housing authority, provide HUD-funded Housing First McKinney permanent supportive housing programs that really provide housing and utility assistance, clinical case management, home visits, furniture, transportation, and all of those things to individuals that have experienced homelessness in the past, or folks with disabilities. And so we really are serving that spectrum. So that's one arm. And then under our Housing Finance Agency, where we continue to innovate, we have products like the Housing Production Fund or our Nonprofit Preservation Fund that really allow us to newly construct affordable housing with the Housing Production Fund or with our Housing Preservation Fund, be able to take those products that may be, or apartment units that may be subjected to market pressure, right, and preserve those as affordable so that those don't go into the housing stock, get demolished, and then built into these Class A apartments that could run anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 a month.
Right.
So we really work hard to preserve the affordability that's there by acquiring and preserving those naturally occurring affordable homes. And so it's these creative products that HOC has worked really hard with the county to create and to continue to innovate. And so that's how we're able to do it. I think it's that sweet spot of having all of these services, and I really love the name Housing Opportunities Commission because it really is just a plethora of opportunities that we're providing for how we get people housed, how we get them the services and supports that they need to continue to thrive. And that's what really makes us unique in this space.
Right. And so, with the changing climate as far as the federal government is concerned, how is that affecting your organization, or have you felt it yet?
We've been really fortunate, and I think one of the things that, because we are I love to consider us a bit of a unicorn, because we have been such a unicorn, and we have been innovative, we have been able to demonstrate the impact. We haven't felt some of those restrictions that some others, and fingers crossed that we will continue to be on the right side of this thing. But I think that everyone is thinking about ways to do more with less, or to be able to maintain. Right. And so we've been fortunate in that we haven't had that direct impact. And when we've been able to partner successfully with the county here, our council members, our county exec, we've been able to demonstrate a really solid track record of delivery. And we've been fortunate to not be on the side where cuts have had to be made. And so I think that this is $1 million question. If we all had this crystal ball and we could look into it to see where we're going to be in the future, we'd all be, trying to right whatever wrongs or trying to get on be in someone's good graces. But I think we've been fortunate in that regard. And Stevie, I tell you, we're continuing to cross our fingers that we don't get the impact.
Right. I'm speaking today with Tia Blount. She is Vice President, Public Affairs and Communications Director there at Housing Opportunities Commission in Montgomery County. Now, I was saying earlier at the top of the show that we were going to talk about a couple of things, and one of them is Fatherhood Initiative, and the other one is Family Self-Sufficiency. The Fatherhood Initiative, I'm just like, I'm a boy mom, clapping over here. I mean, Tia, it just dawned on me that as a society in the last, I would say, 20 years, at least we've been focusing on our young women and getting them to the place where they're feeling strong and confident. We can see how sports have been elevated for females, positions in government. We're easing our way there, but along the way, we have forgotten about. This is just me.
Yes.
We've forgotten about our young men and managing to sustain where they are, because now the world looks different for them too, and their dads don't necessarily have that playbook yet, because we're all trying to figure this out. And so the Fatherhood Initiative, please share with our listeners what you guys have going on.
You're spot on, Stevie. And one of the reasons why this program is so dynamic and why it was created is because we're working to really address a number of interconnected issues affecting families. And when you spoke about the issue that boys are experiencing, there's currently a father absence crisis in America where 18.4 million children, 1 in 4, are without a biological step or adoptive father in the household.
Wow.
Right? And so research really shows us is that when a child is raised in a father absent home, they're affected in a number of ways, whether that's being 4 times greater at risk of falling into poverty, having infant mortality issues, sometimes 2 times greater, getting children pregnant or becoming a teen mom, suffering obesity, being 2 times more likely to drop out of school. And so all of these challenges we're working to address by restoring fathers in the home, giving them the tips, tools, resources, and financial backing to really make a difference. And so that's why the Fatherhood Initiative exists. And I'm really excited and proud to say that, this program that was established in 2016, HOC is today the first public housing authority to be awarded the Fatherhood Initiative grant from Health and Human Services.
Wow.
Their Administration for Children and Families. And to the best of my knowledge, we remain the only public housing authority in the nation to offer such program. Again, really looking at our solid track record, to date, we've been able to help approximately 1,500 fathers get effectively through this program and have some dynamic outcomes in 4 key areas: responsible parenting, healthy relationships, healthy relationship education, employment stability, and really mobility and case management. And the case management component, Stevie, I'll tell you, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because instead of us dictating to a father what's important, he comes into the program saying, here are the things I want to work on. Here are the things I know I need help with. And through the support of case management, we're able to map the path and get them the resources that they need. And so this is a really dynamic program that we're really excited to share about. And the really, really cool thing is that originally when we started this program, this was really limited to fathers who were in HOC, who had children that were living in HOC housing or who were participating in some of our housing programs or who may have been on the wait list. This program is now open to dads all over the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area. You just have to be 18 and up.
Yay!
Right, and you just have to be custodial or non-custodial, right? Because there's a bridge, right? That stepfathers or folks who come into the foster system play in increasing the support system needed for children. And so this is a really dynamic program that we're excited about.
That's amazing, because that was going to be my question. To whom is this open? And to know that, dads across the board here in the DMV would be able to participate and, get that extra bit of guidance. And, sometimes that's all anybody needs. And I know for men, and seeing my sons, the confidence, it's a silent struggle. You know what I mean? For most young men, it's almost like they're wired in a way. Okay, I've got to figure this out. And I can come up with the tools I need, but then they don't know where to go, who to ask to get this kind of thing. So then that's where the mentors come in and things like that. So if there are any, fathers out there, ones who really need to get that support and understanding your role, where can they reach out? Where can they go to find that information?
Absolutely. You can connect with us in a number of ways. I'm going to give you an email address. It's fathersmatter@hocmc.org. Again, that's fathersmatter@hocmc.org. Or you can give us a call at 240-745-6098, and that's going to connect you directly to our program staff. And when I tell you that, Stevie, you're speaking to such a really interesting point, in that a lot of men suffer in silence. A lot of them, don't know or don't feel safe to be vulnerable. And the thing that I love about this program, you're not going it alone. They're going in a cohort. There's other men that are locking elbows and really working alongside and being a safe space. Women are not allowed. I'm not allowed in this program, right? So I'm speaking from the outside looking in to only see the amazing stories of fathers who have matriculated through the program, who have come out on the other side, who have restored their relationships with their children, with the mothers, who have become gainfully employed, who are now present, who are now able to provide. And so it's just a real dynamic way to connect. If you are out there, guys, and you're listening, don't delay. There's a real opportunity here. I don't care if you're looking at it side-eyed, if your arms are folded, you're a little like, I don't know where to start. I don't have a goal, and I don't know. You don't even need to have any of that. All you need to do is give us a call at 240-745-6098 or email us at fathersmatter@hocnc.org. We'll get you connected.
I'm almost like in tears over here just thinking about all the wonderful things and the opportunities, because that's something that people don't think exist. And how do I get that start? How do I take that step? And that's what's so important. That first step can lead you to so many wonderful things. And the fear can, that fight, flight,
Correct.
fawn, whatever,
Crippling.
you just, you get stuck. And I've seen it firsthand. And being a mom, my thing is I want to take care, I want to do, but then it's like, no, I'm pushing you. Check this out, check that out, and dad,
Correct.
and those conversations with dad, our house is connected. I'm, blessed to be able to, share and say that. But there's so many young men that have that need and that desire. And so, hats off. Hats off. So now,
Thank you. And so we're here. We're a resource, and that's just one side, Stevie. That's helping the fathers, but we want to help the whole family, and that's where the Family Self-Sufficiency program came in.
Okay. So let's take it, because I was going to say, now that we're getting our dad together, what's this for the Family Self-Sufficiency? What does that look like?
Absolutely. And so this is another unique program. This one has a few more restrictions. I'm not even going to lie about that. There are more restrictions for this particular program, but the program was really designed to enable families to increase their earned income and reduce their dependence on the welfare system or rental subsidy. And for a lot of folks who receive rental assistance or who may have some welfare assistance, there's often this fear, right, that if I increase my income, where's my safety net? Where am I going to go?
Right.
What happens if I stumble? What happens if I lose my job? And so the Housing Opportunity Commission, along with other housing authorities across the country, are really working to address that fear and create that safety net. And so the Family Self-Sufficiency program does that. And what it does and what it gives folks is, while they're going through this program, they have the benefit of an interest-bearing escrow account that accumulates over time, real money, right? That at the end of this program that they've gone through, that they've been able to increase a number of skills, whether that's looking for workforce development skills, whether they're looking for career counseling, education, job training and readiness, they're looking for childcare resources, credit counseling, you name it. After they've gone through this program, which also happens to take a case management approach, they walk away with a big check, and I do mean big check.
Wow.
When I tell you, Stevie, at our last graduating cohort that happened in June of this year, the average escrow payout was about $21,000, but I've seen checks upwards of $80,000.
Wow.
Okay, you work hard in this program and you get paid. Okay, our last cohort alone had 5 families achieve homeownership. We had 6 families launch businesses. Right, one in the fields of healthcare, cosmetology, real estate insurance, and food services. We had 19 customers get increased educational opportunities, one of whom is now earning their master's in social work. and another who's earning their bachelor's degree. And so this program gives you so much. And so we call it earning while you learn. Why leave money on the table? Like we tell people that when they take on a new job, and we're trying to talk to them about the benefits of enrolling in their 401k. And if you're going to get a company match, you're going to put your contribution in, let's say 4%, the company's going to match you at 4%. Why leave money on the table? Well, we're saying the same thing to individuals in HOC households who are eligible for this program. So all you have to do is be in an HOC home, and you're receiving either a housing choice voucher or project-based voucher program assistance. You are eligible. And here's the beauty. When we talk about the Fatherhood Initiative addressing fathers, right, you have one person in your household who falls under this category. Well, guess what? We're giving these benefits to all of the individuals in the household so they can take advantage of some of the training and the resources that we're providing through this program.
Amazing. Now, is this for Montgomery County residents only, the Family Self-Sufficiency program?
So the Family Self-Sufficiency program, correct, is for HOC residents who are receiving housing choice voucher or project-based voucher assistance.
Okay.
So that is the restriction that we talked a little bit about, because you do have to be receiving those, and you do have to be at least 18 years of age to enroll in this program. But once you meet that criteria, we're bringing you into the program, and we're able to support the entire family. Again, we're offering support with transportation, legal aid, food assistance, child care resources, health services, emergency housing stabilization services. So we are really creating a safety net. So there's no real excuse, if you will.
Right.
Right? Because at the end of the day, our goal is to get you sufficient, fully, teaching you about money. A lot of folks shy away from budgeting. A lot of folks shy away from credit. We're going to do it in a safe environment where you're going to learn from others. You're going to have your case manager, again, working on the goals that you say are important. And I really, really love this program, because it's not just, okay, you're earning, but once you come out on the other side, now I've got this major pot of money that I can invest in almost anything, whether that's a new home. Let's say, I've been trying to get back and forth, but I need a car because that's been a barrier. Go ahead and get your new car, right? Go ahead and work on whatever it is. Maybe you wanted to start a small business. You have now the opportunity in the startup capital to do just that. We're not going to dictate to you what you use those resources are. We will help you along to make sure that those things are continuing to advance what it is you say you're up to, right, in terms of your goals. But our goal is to get you and your family to self-sufficiency, and that really is the dynamism of this program.
Oh, Tia. Oh, my goodness. This is just fantastic, and I hope our listeners have really honed in on some of the things that you're saying. And it's not just our listeners as far as those in need, but our business leaders. And this is the kind of thing that makes a community work. And so many people get this vision that people are lazy, they just want to live on the dime, and they're going to get cut.
Correct.
No, that is not necessarily the case. There are a small percentage of those individuals who do exist, but people have some dignity. They do have self-respect, and this is a fantastic way to help those individuals get the start that they need, get the courage that they need, get the stability, and mostly the support that they need, that people care and they can do it. Tia, is there anything else that you would like to share? Please give the number and email for people to get in touch with you and so to discuss further. Yes, go ahead, please.
Absolutely. And so if you're interested in our FSS program, our Family Self-Sufficiency program, please do email us at FSS RSVP. So you're RSVPing for an event. FSS RSVP at hocnc.org, or you can give us a call at 240-627-9718. Again, that's 240-627-9718.
And for the Fatherhood Initiative, same thing?
So Fatherhood Initiative has a different email address. and a different phone number. Fatherhood Initiative is Fathers Matter, MATTER, at HOCMC.org. Again, that's Fathers Matter at HOCMC.org, or reach out us at 240-745-6098.
Tia, it's been an absolute pleasure. I want to thank you once again for joining me here today on the Washington Report.